record this. Okay. So, hello, everybody. I am Tanya Hewlett, and I have a company called Beaming Love and Light. And what I like to do is just to give people a space to explore new things. And so I like to dabble in stuff. And I came across this method less than a year ago. A good friend of mine, Nancy, actually introduced it to me. And then I did a couple of free online classes with Mindful Lines, and I bought a couple of their courses and have worked through things. But it's just a really interesting modality to go through, and the things that you think about when we're actually doing it. So I thought I would share it with people and see what they thought about it. And if it's something that people like to do, maybe we could meet once a month on Zoom and pick a topic and go through one of the algorithms on it. So I bought a book, and I'll share all this with y'all afterwards. But I bought this book, and it's called Achieve Your Goals with Neurographica Methods, and I got it on Amazon. But the lady I really like to listen to does Mindful Lines, and I'll share all of that information with you at the end. So I'm going to share some stuff out of this book. And I'm going to show you how to draw some of the lines, and then we're actually going to go through and draw a picture together. So, again, I just like to dabble. I am not an expert in this by any way, shape, or form, and there's all kinds of different methods. The original method actually was developed in Russia, and there are all kinds of people right now that are adapting it to their own little to themselves, kind of adapting it a little bit. So I'm just going to go through really kind of a rough sketch of what it is and how it kind of affects your mind. And as we're going through it, kind of talk through some things that come to me as I'm actually doing it. And then we're actually going to draw a picture together as we go through. There's 7 steps to drawing one of these algorithms. And so we're actually going to go through the whole process together. So with that said, this actually did originate in Russia, and there's lots of different variations on it. And how this actually works is it works with your motor skills. You know, one of the things with retraining your brain to do things is, and I know y'all have heard this before, you know, if you're right-handed, then try to do something different. Try writing with your left hand, you know, on a regular basis, and it really does something to help kind of rewire your brain. So those motor skills, actually, when you mess with those motor skills, they will actually help your cerebral cortex, which gives you higher mental function, which actually helps with your brain plasticity. I need speech therapy. And so that brain plasticity is your ability to be able to reshape, rewire, and create new neural connections. And what you'll see when we actually start to draw these pictures is you're going to see us drawing little neurons. That's what they look like when we actually start to draw them. And so Neurographica, what it can do is change your perception, your cognition, and give you a new way to process information. And so one way to increase that neuroplasticity in your brain is to draw with like I said, draw with the opposite hand. So when we start drawing these lines, if you're in your brain says, really, I want to draw it to the right, then maybe you should try drawing the line to the left. And there's no rhyme or reason to what these pictures show up, but it's just a way to just kind of retrain your mind to think out of the box and not always go to take the easiest pathway. So I have notes here, so I'm not trying to I think I talked about that already. Okay, so we're going to look at what this actually is. So some of the primary characteristics of drawing these lines, these neurographic lines, is that it lacks a repetitive pattern. So I'm going to change my view a little bit so that we can look at paper, and then we can look at a couple of the graphics that are in this textbook. And if this is too small, you can actually change your view to speaker view, I think. And it will put me on the page, And I'm going to pin myself real fast so it's just me in the center, and then maybe that will help. Okay, let me focus it. So to focus on my dust there. Okay, so typically people like to draw repetitive lines, and it's not wanting to focus here. Okay, so this would be like a repetitive line. Okay, or just drawing straight lines. What we want to do is we want to try to draw lines that don't really follow a pattern, and just draw it across the and draw it completely across the whole entire page. Okay, so they don't follow any type of repetitive or what we might think a predictive pattern. Okay, except for the fact that it's going to go across from one side of the page to the other side of the page.
Do that now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So the other thing that I want to say is that if you're trying to be mindful and you're drawing it, and like right now, my pencil is saying, and I should be drawing with a pen, but I automatically pick up a pencil. But my mind's saying draw up, then so maybe I should turn and draw down. So when you're drawing in, kind of think about that. If you get into a pattern where you're just automatically doing it, are you stretching a little bit, and can you maybe slow down and maybe change directions or something? Okay, so that's one thing to think about when you're doing that. The other thing is the pencil versus the pen. This is the hardest thing for me because I am always with pencil because I can erase it and I can start over. And I'm so afraid of making a mistake because everything has to be perfect. These drawings right here are not meant to be, although they will look like works of art when you are done. That's not the whole, you don't know what, this is an abstract drawing. So we're going to keep it abstract. So don't worry about it. And everybody's is going to look different. This is my first one I ever drew.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And so, and to me, I don't like it, but that tells me something about me. Okay. And so, but this is the first one I ever drew. This is one that I drew that I never finished. But this is a specific algorithm. Okay. So, but this one doesn't have a color. I didn't finish it. Here's another one that I've done. And of course, the picture on the Facebook, that's one that I did as well. Okay. And so
plug in my phone.
So there's nothing here that anybody can do this and everybody's going to look different. And that's really what I want to stress with this. Now, another thing with this is that when we start to draw these lines and we draw them off on one side and the other, you notice that right here, there's a cross. Okay, there's a cross. And when we see those crosses, these crosses here are places of confrontation. And so when we start to draw these lines, what we're going to do after we may draw 5 lines on here, we're going to go here and we're going to round off all of the areas that are that have the sharp. And you can notice that they kind of start to look like neurons. And even if I had, especially if I had another one that came through here, now I'm just did this one on purpose. Because when you start to round them off, okay, they start to look like neurons. And so we're literally, as we're doing this, kind of rewiring our brain. We're taking those areas of conflict here and we're smoothing them off. Okay, we're smoothing them off into harmony. And so we're going to do this with all of our lines where we just kind of round them off, smooth them in. Okay, now I know that's I like a smaller pen to do it a little bit smaller. Okay. So we're just going to round them off, and we can go over these lines again. If we see a line, we don't like it a little bit, we can kind of go through it again. And it's okay. It's okay to be a little bit messy and then to round them out again or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna do this through it. So we're gonna try to avoid having any sharp edges in here. When we start drawing more lines, what we're gonna see, and I'll start from scratch from this last time, but what we're gonna see is that we might see a place where, like if I look right in here, I might actually see a circle in here, and we're gonna draw shapes. And we're gonna add shapes to our things as we go through, okay? And you may draw a few lines and say, oh, I need a few more in there. And then we'll draw a few more in there, and you might see another place for a shape. Okay, the shapes, the circles, all those different things have different meanings to them. So the circle is the most harmonious, and that's what we're actually going to focus on today is the circle. So the circle is a place with peace, and it symbolizes a wholeness in the sun's spiritual integrity. Okay, ovals, which have just a little bit slightly different shape than the circles, which you may have an oval in here. If I had a bunch of lines here, I might actually see an oval in this area where I could draw an oval. But we're going to try to stay to round shapes today, okay? More rounder shapes. Ovals are a little less harmonious than a circle. So if you saw a place where you saw ovals versus circles, you could look in that and say, well, where am I maybe a little bit more less harmonious in my life right now, based on whatever topic that we're going to draw on today. Ovals can also be used to express a specific concept or emotion related to whatever your theme is that you're actually drawing. Squares and triangles are a little bit more advanced drawings that they use in a little bit more advanced drawings that evoke stability, protection, balance, reliability. They're more of a static shape, and it does not introduce change. Well, that circle can introduce change. And a triangle is going to represent change, can represent a struggle, some sort of a change or destruction. So if you actually see triangles in there, you can think about those things and how they may be affecting whatever topic that you're actually on. Okay, we want to make sure that when we're rounding these edges, okay, we're creating that, we're taking that conflict away and we're creating that more harmonious, balanced life that we're hoping that we can actually get. So we have those triangles. Now I'm going to read a section out of this book that talks about the actual algorithm that we're going to use today. And it's called the SCORE. This algorithm is specifically designed to address issues or aspects of life that generate some sort of negative emotion or tension. Why is this important? I'm going to turn this back up for just a second. Part of this reason why I think this is so important is because we take our emotions, we take the stresses of the day, and sometimes we lock it down and we store it in different parts of our body. And we can look up different illnesses and we can figure out where we're actually storing them and how they're making us feel right now. I was talking to someone today that is having some gut issues, and gut issues, some of those issues, as far as emotion goes, have to do with guilt. And so when you're thinking about guilt, you know, where can you give forgiveness? And when you can start thinking about some of those different things and not harping on it, but just noticing it, how does it make you feel? And then trying to release those emotions, then you end up with a more harmonious life. And that's part of what this is going to help us do. Okay, so if we undertake a detailed graphic exploration aimed at analyzing the root causes of our current state, we can examine past experiences that have contributed to the development of a problem and identify the negative charges associated with these experiencing. And so if we engage in this process, we can remove those negative feelings therefore releasing that emotional blockage that is impeding us in our growth. And so hopefully, as we go through these, what you really need to do is to really observe yourself in three areas. Your conscious, what thoughts and stuff are going through your brain, and the emotions that are coming up as you're thinking about the topic and as you're drawing. And even if there's nothing coming up, there's something happening because because we're going to prime all this. That kind of all comes together. But even if it feels like there's nothing going, there are. When I drew my first picture, the sensations that I got in my body, I mean, just pay attention to the different things that are coming up for you. And you don't have to analyze it to death or try to make sense of it, but pay attention to it, because when things come up, a lot of times all we have to do is to bring them up, notice them, and let go of them, and we can release part of that. So that's part of actually releasing some of those hidden things. So let's kind of get started. We have 7 steps we're going to go through. We're going to choose a theme. We're going to start our composition by actually drawing lines across the side of the page. We're going to, after we've done that and rounded off some of the edges of those crosses where the lines are crossing, then we're going to look to see if we see any patterns in there. Are there any ovals? Do you see any circles? And if you see triangles or squares that are definitely there and you notice them and you have to draw them, you can draw them on the page. But we're going to try to stick to more circular, more harmonious. Then we're going to, part of the drawing on there and then adding more lines is kind of integrating some of that into our picture. And then we're going to look to see if there's strong lines that are actually going across. So if you look at this picture right here, you see that there are some definite strong lines that look like they're coming across, and they kind of head off in different directions. Not all of them are the same thickness, but we're going to draw over and make some of the lines more thicker as they go through some of our circles and stuff that we put on there. And this is going to kind of fix it. We might take one circle or 2 circles that might stand out to us. We might circle them a little bit more, okay? And then we're going to color it in, kind of fix it. And when we color it in, there's a specific way that there's really one big rule, and that's you don't leave 2. You can't have one single color by itself. Everything has to be in pairs, and we'll talk about that more as we do that. Okay, and then we'll be open to any questions or anything like that. So y'all ready to figure out what we're going to draw on? What negative things, I want you to think about this, what negative things are going on in your life right now that you might want to relieve a little stress over? Anybody think of anything they'd like to draw on?
Well, I started drawing.
You started drawing already?
Yeah. You want to see it?
Sure.
How do I show it?
Just put it up in front of your face. Yeah, see if we can focus. Wow. That's cool.
Circles in here, but they're not all real good.
They don't have to be good. They don't have to be good. That is the one thing that's great about this. No one ever has to see your picture but you. Does anybody have a topic? Shoot. Money.
Ex-husband.
Sure. Let's use money.
Yeah, finances.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll use money, finances, whatever thing that you want. So this is the first thing I want you to do. And what this does is it kind of primes your brain for what you're doing. So you're going to take your piece of paper, and on the back of your piece of paper, we're going to take about 2 minutes. Let me set my timer. And we are going to write, we're just going to you don't have to share any of this with anybody. This is just you. So whatever pops in your mind, even if nothing's popping in my mind, you're going to write it down on a piece of paper. So for the next 2 minutes, you're just going to dump everything that you have in your head about finances down on a piece of paper. Let me find my timer here. We need at least 20 words. Even if the words repeat, it's okay. So if you're doing money, 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 whatever, okay? But we need to try to get at least 20 different words. It's okay if they repeat, but just whatever pops in your head. Let me set the timer. Some of you may already be writing. That's okay too. I've got it on hours. That's too long. Not 2 hours, 2 minutes. Okay, start.
How long do we do this?
2 minutes. We got 43 seconds left. Okay. So, I'm going to share some of the words so you can see how ridiculous this sounds. So I put worry, clients, bank, bills, kids, fun, grocery, grow business, finance, scared, friends, chamber, connections, follow up, green, trees, chickens, food, dollar signs, how to make more, scared, bank, failure, success, no one will like it. What if they don't like it? Green, classes, follow up. You could go on and on. So I know I have over 20. Count up your um, count up your words and see how many words are there.
Were we supposed to do individual words? I did sentences.
Yeah, I did too.
It could be words specifically. You're trying to get words. It could be phrases, not necessarily individual sentences, because when you start doing individual sentences, I think what happens in your brain is that you're trying to make sense of it when you make a sentence instead of just letting it kind of flow out anything that comes and leaving that thought and going on to the next one. And again, this is a learning process. So just think about different things that are pop up. Now, when we start to draw, more things are going to pop up. Some of the same things might pop up. There might be different things that pop up, but you need to have, when you start this, at least 20 different things on here that pops into your mind. This kind of primes your brain for what you're about to do. Now, I like to, because my pen is so bright, I'm going to staple this onto the back of like I did this one here. I just stapled it to the back of the picture. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to grab my paper now, and we're going to draw some mindful lines. Okay. Remember, they're not going to be repeating patterns. Think about when you're going from the left side of your page to the right side of your page. Think about um, think about uh, think about if your mind says go right, go left, that sort of thing. I'm going to draw mine a little bit smaller so I can get it on the camera. Make my paper a little bit smaller. Um, think about, just think about if you get in a repeating pattern, how can you change that pattern up a little bit? And so, we're just going to take our pen, start on one side, and we're going to draw some lines across to the other side. So let's just draw maybe 5 lines. They can cross over each other. They can cross several different ways. And let's just draw 5 lines.
Do I need to redo this?
If you would like to. That way you're with us.
I'm with you.
Just 5 lines?
Yeah. If you see that you need more than 5 lines, draw more than 5 lines. But right now, if we can all kind of start with maybe 5 lines,
Okay.
because we're going to start smoothing out all those edges. And so this is where it gets a little bit time consuming. And then you're sitting here with your thoughts as you're doing it. And you're thinking about that list that you made on the other side. Okay. You're thinking about or making any observations about any thoughts that are coming by, any anything that's happening. How does your body feel? I know right now I'm getting a little flushed. My face is getting a little hot. May have to turn on my fan, have a little bit of hot flash right here. But think about any emotions that might come up around the money. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these places where there's a cross. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see. And we're going to kind of smooth them out, kind of round them out and color them in. Okay. And we can go over that line a little bit more, but we're just going to kind of smooth those out. And you notice right here on this picture, I have kind of a sharp area right here. I might just kind of smooth it out a little bit so it doesn't look so sharp, which means I might have to make it a little bit thicker.
To all the crosses.
All the crosses, we're going to smooth those crosses out. Make them round. We're going to round them out. Make sure that we smooth all of them out. This will take a few minutes to do. And then notice whatever thoughts around money.
Didn't know I had so many. Mhm.
Sometimes there's guilt. We spend our money sometimes. Some might make the right decision. You can move your picture around if it make it more harmonious. Don't we have to kind of adjust sometimes in real life? Just going to kind of smooth them out.
And you said we needed at least 20 words, right?
Yep.
Okay. And do you always go from the one end of the page?
Yeah, because you don't want any open lines. And so typically you'll go from one side of the page or another, or you'll see when we add our shapes in there that you could start within a shape and draw a line. Sometimes you just might draw like I can see kind of a circle here. Could draw a line through it, but we'll talk about that more when we start adding some lines to this picture. Depending on the more lines you have and the more crosses you have, then the more time you end up spending trying to make it more to work through those conflicts. I look like I have a lot of conflict around money.
I could see where it'd be beneficial to have had a Sharpie to do some of this.
Yeah, or a felt tip.
I have a felt tip, but it's a fine felt tip.
Yeah, mine's really fine right now too. I need a medium one, I think.
Wonder how quickly we go through pens.
So again, notice any thoughts, any emotions, any sensations maybe in your body.
I know you mentioned using the other hand.
Not during this. I mean, that's a technique to help with brain, not a technique necessarily in this, but a technique that they use to, for brain plasticity is to do something a little bit different, use your left hand instead of your right.
I did that on the other one.
To take a different path than what you normally do, to think outside of that box.
I mean, more so than I do now. Wow. Is there a wrong way to do this?
Not really, just round up the edges, round out those crosses. See, they kind of look like little neurons. I have a lot of little sharp areas in here. Round them out a little bit.
Did you say Myra was here?
Yes.
I didn't see her.
She is
I
iPad
do.
47.
Oh yeah, hiya.
So I have another sharp. I've had about 4 of them that I've seen in here, just kind of a sharp turn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of round it out. I have many issues.
Who doesn't?
This one right here on my picture, you see I have 2 lines that are really close here. I think I'm going to take this one line and make it a little bit thicker right here. Maybe I can add them together. It feels like they needed some touch. How are y'all doing on filling in your crosses? Rounding them out, making them more harmonious. Back up from my picture there. Another kind of sharp corner.
Well, I do notice the negative cognition. I'm doing something wrong. Oh well.
So stop for just a second. I know you may not be finished, and I kind of rushed through mine, but kind of look at your pictures. Look at your pictures. Can you see any shapes or any like I look at my picture right now and I see a bird in there.
Yeah, I can see it.
You see the bird?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got kind of a beak here, and then it kind of looks like it's got tail feathers out here, and the big
Mm-hmm.
the breast. Do you see any pictures in yours? Do you see anything that
I don't have too many crosses. That's what's scaring me.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You can?
Yep.
I'm going to share or no?
so Diane, we can actually add more lines in
Mm-hmm.
if we need to, and we will after we draw a couple of shapes. Okay.
Okay.
So how are y'all doing on filling in making your picture more harmonious by filling in those cross sections?
I'm done.
I'm
You
done.
done?
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
So what we're going to do here is we've looked at different, I look and I see this bird in the middle of there, and it almost looks like a dove. So I'm thinking maybe I need to love my money a little more. I don't know. It just makes me feel kind of peaceful seeing that in there. But what I want you to do is I want you to look in your picture, and I want you to see, are there any places where you could draw a circle that it just feels like there ought to be a circle there? And then I want you to draw a circle.
Freehand?
Freehand, yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. We got to get over being perfect.
Oh shoot.
Just draw, and that's why we're doing it in pen instead of pencil. Just draw a circle. See, I'm struggling with, I don't want to draw over my bird, but I know that there is a circle right in here. And I just totally went over that circle and drew another one. Bigger, I'm drawing it in here. Oops. And I see another little circle right here. And so now that you've drawn one or two shapes in there, circles, I'm going to draw another circle right here. Then wherever those lines cross, because you see I drew this big circle here. Look, I've got lines that cross here now. I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in again. I'm going to fill in all of those lines that cross. I'm going to round them out. So you're going to go back in and you're going to round them out. Just keep finding them, and rounding them out. I am recording. People in my kitchen right now.
Strangers?
No.
Grandkids?
Kids.
I'm having a hard time finding where to put, I've done one circle, but I don't see where to do a circle.
And it doesn't have to be a big circle, it could be a small circle.
So what
So
makes you look at it and say, oh, I see a circle? Because even when you put that first circle there, I was like, I don't see a circle.
this one here, I think for me, because it had the large rounded space here, and there was so much just right there, it almost looked like a blob of
Okay.
something, and that's why I put it there. Here, just because it was kind of rounded, like it had a half circle in there already, so I just went ahead and put another one. And then right here, when I was drawing this circle, I totally got off of where that I was drawing that circle and came past it. So for some reason, I needed to draw another big circle around there.
Okay.
I have a face. I have a face. I
You have a
eyes.
face?
Oh, eyes, nose, and a mouth. Oh, that's funny. After I did the circle over my little thing, it is weird.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna show you a picture. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, it does. Looks
Isn't
like
that
a
weird?
face.
Isn't that weird?
It's cute.
Oh my gosh. I thought that's weird after it came out. Very strange.
My artist friends would be so proud of me. Think I did better when I was younger. Oh well.
So what does the face mean, Tanya?
I don't know. What does it mean to you?
Uh, I don't know if it's smiling or if it's upset. I don't know.
That was going to be my next question. Is it a happy face? Is it a sad
Well,
face?
I'm a very happy person right now, but I don't know in finances if that means I'm not happy. I don't know. Hmm.
This is a time of that a lot of self-reflection. And you may not know what the answer is right now,
Mm-hmm.
But just notice things over the next week or so and see if anything changes, if something pops out that maybe wasn't there before.
Okay.
So realization.
How long do you usually take to do one of these?
Depending on how big it is, I mean, you can do a quick one in 15-20 minutes, or you can do longer ones. Especially the more you do it, then the faster it is to round out those areas and see what's
I
and
don't know that I'm
you can
rounding
see
them out
things.
correctly. Here, take a look. Can you see?
No, you're not on my screen right now. Let me find you. Hang on a second. Gallery view. So the I'm just going to bring that up. Let me change my view again. So when you're rounding them, if you're this is kind of a blown up version, if you can kind of put a rounded, or like you're drawing a semicircle in there and then fill it in. So you need to do it on all of the sides in every corner so that you round that whole thing out there. Now you may have something that looks like this, that this part right here is almost pretty much rounded, so you don't have to do much with that, but you do have to round this part in. And this is kind of done on a bigger scale, but you have to do all four.
And you go around the whole circle too, right?
Yeah, you go around the whole thing. Yes, you don't want any sharp corners. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And you can, like I'm doing it, I'm kind of messy. I'm a perfectionist, so I'm trying to get past that. This is my do it messy or don't do it all. Do it at all. Because sometimes when we're perfectionists, we let that get in our way,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
and we need to just do it
And be messy.
and be messy. Okay, I'm going to back up this. Okay, I'm going to finish my lines here. Again, when you see different shapes in your picture and you see those sharp edges, just pay attention to those things that are coming up. Now, I know that we're talking a lot, so I mean, if you were doing this on your own, it would be more quiet and more focused on. See, even here on this edge of this circle right here, there's a sharp edge, so I'm going to round that out. Right
So
there.
because of the mindfulness part,
Oh, I'm
would
going to
you
tell
say
you.
that you're not supposed to do it while watching TV?
You can still get benefit from it, but if it's a deeper issues that you really want to really want to get some insight from your inner self, then it would be more beneficial. But you can still get insight and still get benefit from doing it if you were watching a baseball game. It's kind of like doodling. How many of y'all ever doodled in school
Oh, yeah.
while the teacher was talking? Doesn't mean that you're not absorbing anything. We're just going to get all of those edges. Once you get them done, kind of look at your picture. See if if you've missed any of them, if there's some lines, maybe you want to smooth out a little bit by going over them again. There are too many intersections right there in that one place, so I'm just going to kind of smooth them all in that way.
What did you say about ovals?
They're not as harmonious.
I have a few
Yeah.
ovals.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's okay. We have areas in our life that we're working on. Some of them are better than others.
I think my perfectionistic part would not want to be seen.
Okay. So I don't know where you're at with your picture. How many of y'all still need more time putting in the?
I'm so sorry. I had 3 customers send me something while I'm
That's
sitting here
okay.
drawing. While I'm drawing. Oh dear. Okay.
So look at your picture. Do you see any place that you might want to add another line?
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at mine and I'm thinking that I want to really what I want to do. I don't know. Is I want to add another line in here. And then I might take it through an existing line. It's okay to take it through an existing line. Out the other side. And then I'm going to round off that line. And once I get that one rounded off, then what we're going to do here is we're going to look and see if any of those lines really stand out. And do we want to color them in a little bit darker? I'm going to draw those ley lines in there.
I got a lot of ovals.
This is fun, Tanya.
Yeah. How do y'all feel?
Great.
So I want to, um, I want to take this line here and I am going to go through it a little bit darker and I'm taking it through my picture. Like this. And I'm going to kind of trace it again. I want this line right here. I want it to really stand out. And then wherever it may have crossed, I'm going to round it out again. It's kind of a weird place to round.
Well, I just found an easier way to round it out. Just make
Did
a
you?
little circle and keep going.
Mine is the man in the moon.
Man in the moon. Mine's starting to look like an eyeball. All the little optic nerves back here in the back and the big eyeball right here.
Yes.
You got rid of the bird?
He's still there. I think it means I need more work, but I need to love on myself a little bit more.
I think I'm trying to become Picasso. Unfortunately, that little perfectionist part says I'm nowhere near there. But when I'm done, I may send this to my girlfriend who's an artist. For years, she tried to talk me into learning how to draw. And now that I'm actually might want to learn how to draw, she's no longer willing to do it. Oh, well. I haven't pushed.
So let's grab some colors if we're at a place where we can start to color. So we're at 8 o'clock, and if y'all can stay with me another maybe 15 minutes, I
Okay.
think we can finish this up. I
Okay.
probably should have put an hour and a half on this instead of. Okay. So if you can grab your colors, this is the rule for the colors. These white parts are called cells. And you can't have a singular cell when you start to color. So I'm not looking at any particular color. I've got a bunch of matte pencils here, and I'm just gonna grab one without looking. And I ended up with a blue color. And I'm just gonna start anywhere you want. I'm gonna start, I wanna start on this side. So I'm gonna start on this side over here, this opposite side. And I am just gonna start coloring. No rhyme or reason, whatever it's going to take me. I'm just going to start coloring. And you always have to color at least two of them together. You have to have two cells that are the same color.
Two
Together?
cells?
Yeah, they have to be touching.
Okay.
So like if I, for instance, I'm grab another color. If I started to color here, this red color, pink, whatever color it is, I can't have it by itself, and this white one is touching another white one, it's okay, but this is just this pink one. So I would either have to, when I got finished with my picture, if this is all I want, to draw another line in there to break the cell up so that it was in pairs instead of by itself, or I would have to color another one next to it. So this one and this one are touching, so that's okay. Okay, but I'm going to continue to draw or color.
Okay.
Color some of these over here. This color. Don't put too much thought into it, just do it.
But it has to be touching.
Yes, the two cells of the same color have to be touching. You can break it up and do two cells on one side and two cells of another on a different side. That you can do. But there just always has to be two cells that are touching. You can, if you like, overlap colors. So I might overlap this blue with that little, add a little pink color right here. Here looks a little bit too sharp for me.
And what about the circles? Does it mean anything special when they're by
No,
themselves?
no, when you get into some deeper algorithms, you can actually name them. Like the picture that I posted on Facebook was one that was more centered around goals. And so the circles represented a goal. And so on that one particular, we drew the circles before some of the circles we actually drew before we drew any of the lines.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
I got the book on Kindle, so I will read it.
and then if you go to, and I'll send this, if y'all share your information with me, I'll send it to you, or I can put it on the Facebook in the Facebook event too. The Mindful Lines YouTube, there's a lot of videos out there.
I want to see about how to rewire the brain for pain management, release of pain. And it doesn't matter whether I go through
Nope,
a circle if I need
nope,
to.
no, it does not matter.
I think I need some more black lines.
And when you get finished coloring, if you think you need more lines, you can add those in there, but you need to make sure that you round off any of the crosses.
Yeah.
See, look what I just did. This one is touching that one, but it looks, because of all the black here, it looks like it's isolated.
Hmm.
Where this looks like it flows more, this looks more isolated because it's so so dark. I mean, the lines are so dark there. So I'm going to add in back in here. To
And it doesn't matter if some of the white's still showing through.
you can leave white.
Hmm?
You
No,
can
I
leave.
like, when we're doing these, the pen, especially if you've got finer tips, it's not always You can see some of the white showing through. That doesn't
Yeah, that's
matter.
okay. No, that doesn't matter.
Pasta, what did you say? No, no, I said I passed it almost done. What did you say?
Oh, I was just asking what you went.
I'm not here.
God bless you.
I know in counseling that I've seen when I was an LPC intern, I saw my counseling supervisor. She had a couple in there that had been having challenges with communication. And she put down the paper and pen with the adult coloring book and pencils and stuff. And the person started to color. And as she was doing it, she was able to say what was on her mind without having all the anxiety and the tears and the other things that were getting in the way of being able to communicate.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go, but this is what I've got so far.
Awesome.
I mean, it's
Oh,
a man.
yeah.
It's a man.
That's good.
Oh, the man in the moon. I don't know how that came out, but it did.
Looks good. Whoops.
So what do I need to send this to you?
You can if you want to when you get done with it. That would be great.
Okay. You mean email
Or
it, scan it, or?
you can just take a picture with your phone, text it to me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you have my number.
I think it'd be neat to go through the different algorithms.
Yeah.
Funny how you can't find your pen after you use it. That's pretty sad.
Well, this
So
is great, but I do need to get going.
yeah, I know some of y'all need to actually go, but once you get this finished, you can put it somewhere where you can see it. Go back and look at it. If you need to add more lines to it, you can. I do have I know some of you I know and some of you don't. You can actually go through and you can do a line around a circle like this, add a little color around it. You can add to it just about any way that you want to with the color, just the cells themselves. You need to have two of them with the same color that are touching. You can't have any lone ones out there by itself. And you can come up with some really interesting designs, especially if you're not focusing on the whole thing as a whole, but just on little portions of it. And then you end up with something that looks absolutely fabulous at the end. I'm liking how mine's turning out.
By you looking at
Um,
my picture, will you be able to tell me what's wrong with me? No, I'm just kidding.
Probably not, but I could give you some insight, Diane. I can give you my first impressions.
Don't tell me. I want to be left in the dark. I don't want to know what anybody thinks.
I want to know. I want to know. Maybe it'll help me.
I do have, let me take this. I'm going to put it in the chat if you can access your chat. I do have a link that I would like you to fill out. It's just name, phone number, that sort of thing, and just a couple little questions about what you thought about this technique, and if you would be interested in going a little bit more in depth with this and learning more about it. What did you like that I did? What did you like that what do you think you need more of? Whatever, just constructive criticism. I'm just looking for some ideas on things that people are interested in doing or maybe interested in continuing to do or to learn more about. And there's a place in that link to actually be able to do that. If you can't access it here, most of you, and I don't know you, Charles, and there's a couple other people on here that I don't know. If whoever invited you, or reach out to me on Facebook, and I will send you more information. But you also have the chance to sign up for my newsletter. It's a live newsletter. It's kind of like a website, but it shows all of our different activities we're doing. On Friday, we're actually going to do bingo for your health. So if you'd like to come play bingo with us, I can't really do it, legally for prizes, but I am going to send you a thank you afterwards. So if you want to learn more about what fruits and vegetables can do, come play bingo for your health. On Friday, it's going to be Zoom as well, and I can send you that link. Does anybody have any questions, any insights, anything that you would like to share about what we have done here today? I know it was kind of short and quick.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
I did too. And I didn't think about finances at all while I was drawing this.
Sometimes that can be a blessing because then you're not worried about it. You're focusing on something else. And so, sometimes we let worry get in the way, and sometimes we just need an avenue to escape. And so that's
true.
That can be good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anybody else want to share their picture or any insights of?
I'll show you mine.
Let me hang on. Let me take it off. I've got it where my face is on the screen really big, and so I can't see. Okay,
It's
Kind of blurry.
Take your background off of blur.
How do I do that?
If you go down to the little caret the little house thing next to the video at the bottom of the page.
I didn't even know I had a background blur on.
And then if
technical.
Yeah.
Background. Oh, of course.
Yeah, so unclick it. Now put it up. You have a beautiful background. Move it a little bit closer so we can see the color. There you go. Nice. Your little circle with the red and the yellow kind of look like maybe this is an Aries thing. You see that right there?
Yeah.
Either that or we need a man in our life.
Yeah, there we go. That too.
Look out, Charles.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
that was my moon. That was my man in the moon. Good
well,
night.
you're definitely not looking at mine then.
Okay, here comes mine.
So all I have to do then.
Mom's got some mushrooms there.
I think
Look
it's
at
a
Cindy's.
bra down in the corner. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to leave.
Not sure why.
Rachel, I'll catch up with you later, Diane. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Here's mine.
Rachel, that's nice.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's got a ways to go. I know.
Yep, nice. So you might, your picture, Cheryl, your picture there,
Yeah.
you've got a bunch of isolated little parts there that are not connected. So you may need to look at your connection.
To what?
Connections. We've talked about this before, how you were kind of out of the loop for a while.
Yeah, I've been looking at that. Yeah.
You still need a little connection there. So you need to get out more.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Charles, what do you think about all this besides being the only man here and listening to us?
I think it's a pretty interesting session. I learned a lot.
Very diplomatic.
I enjoyed it though.
Hey, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally didn't really think of finance too much, but I thought of like other problems that are popping up in my life while I was doing this.
That's that.
Can we see yours, Rachel?
Oh, me?
Yeah, she put hers up there before. It looks pretty good.
Oh my goodness, that looks great.
Yeah, that does.
It's pretty chaotic, but I kind of feel like that's my brain.
Yeah, just keep
Wow.
rounding out where your crosses are.
Okay.
That's the main thing. Round those out.
Okay.
Make sure you round those out. Riley, what
Myra,
about
you gonna show yours?
Who?
Myra.
I'll share what I have so far. So
Awesome. That's beautiful. I love the colors. It almost looks like a watercolor.
Yeah, Riley, that looks great.
thank you.
Mine looks like a bra, Cheryl.
Yeah, it does. Are you planning on going out like that for the pool? It's yellow.
I'm losing weight, but not in the right places. Maybe that's what it is. It's coming up.
We have no filter.
Sorry, guys. There is no filter.
Oh, were we supposed to have a filter?
I'm the quiet one out of the bunch.
Yeah, right.
In real life, she's not.
You guys realize that we are related. They don't like to claim me, but they do.
Yeah, Tanya's my sister and Myra's my mom.
Poor things.
Yeah, we're paying for it now.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw the picture of you guys all wearing the tribe t-shirt. That was great.
That's Thanksgiving every year.
About 40
That
to
must be
45
nice.
people.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah.
And if you don't have any place to go
45?
Thanksgiving,
40 to 45.
45. You don't
Where
have
do
any
you
place
put
to
them?
go. In my house.
Everywhere.
In the living room, outside, in the kitchen.
In
Anybody
the front,
can come.
in the backyard.
Come join us.
Yeah.
We always have plenty of food. Plenty of food.
Yep.
So
you
lots of
raising
sweet
the
stuff.
turkey this year for Thanksgiving?
I do the turkey and the ham.
You kill the
She
pig?
doesn't raise it.
Oh no, I don't raise it, but I cook them. I did have a turkey called Thanksgiving and one called Christmas, but I don't have room for turkeys right now. Just the chickens. I'm going to stop the recording.
Good idea.
Do the rest